Rwanda is a member of the 54 nations in the Commonwealth, which brings together 2.5 billion of people. The Commonwealth Day was marked on 14th March under the theme, Delivering a Common Future, Connecting, Innovating and Transforming. On this note, I will welcome the British High Commissioner to Rwanda to tell us more. Welcome. So we are now 3 months away from CHOGM. How are the preparations like?
So preparations are hard work for any of these big events. You know, the UK recently did the COP climate summit and that was a lot of work. I know this won't be too. But I have a lot of confidence in the government of Rwanda's ability to pull these events off. We've seen them do big conferences before and they worked really well. I think what it's going to mean is all of us working together to make sure we get the programs in place, that the events are strong, that we're using a diverse range of organizations to help us. But one of the things I think that is also very helpful is that we have done some of this planning before, right? This CHOGM summit was postponed from last year because of COVID. So we had a bit of practice last year, but I'm very confident now that it is going to happen this year and that the government is going to host it very well.
We already know the prince and his wife are coming to CHOGM. Who else should we expect?
Yeah, so the Royal Highnesses will be coming. The Prince obviously is the future head of the Commonwealth, but we will also expect world leaders from around the Commonwealth to be coming, including our own. So we would expect the UK Prime Minister to attend. We're waiting for final confirmation of that. But we'll also be expecting numbers of foreign ministers, of perhaps ministers of trade or environment to come. So it's going to be a really huge event, and I think Kigali is going to be quite busy in the month of June.
Rwanda is set to host CHOGM this year. What does it mean exactly for the country?
Oh, I think it's going to be a really exciting time. So in June, the eyes of the world are going to be on Rwanda. And I think that's a really exciting time first to show off the country. People are going to come here and see what an ambitious, dynamic, beautiful country it is. But it's also a chance for Rwanda to help shape the future of the organization. So to talk about how can we use the Commonwealth to tackle some of the really big challenges that we all face. Challenges like global health, challenges like climate change. And I think the government of Rwanda is going to do a really good job on that.
How would you explain Commonwealth to a young person?
So the Commonwealth is a family of nations of 54 countries that are bound together by a number of things, by history, by shared values, by our commitment to supporting trade and investment across the community. So it's an organization that spans the globe. It goes from the Americas through Europe, Africa, Asia, Australasia. So it's a really diverse group of nations. It can support good values which will benefit the future across our countries. And I think that's a really good opportunity for young people to learn from each other across the globe.
You kept on mentioning shared values of the Commonwealth. What exactly are those?
Yeah, for example, democracy is a very important value that we all share. Respect for human rights, support for prosperity across the Commonwealth, and I think an overriding sense of equality of all people in the Commonwealth. So it doesn't matter, what your gender is, what color your skin is, how much money you have, who you love. The Commonwealth values are that we are all equal and we're all working together in this family.
And how did it start?
The origins come from colonial days, from the relationship between the United Kingdom and colonial countries, but it has evolved into something much more modern. It's a partnership of equals who share values, who want to increase cooperation amongst that group, and who support the same ideas of democracy, of peace and prosperity.
Considering it was Commonwealth on 14th March, tell us more about it and why it is celebrated.
Yeah, we had a number of events. Over the weekend, actually, we had the final of our Commonwealth Debates competition, which was a competition between schools across Rwanda. And they were talking about how the youth can contribute to the future of the Commonwealth, which was really exciting. Yesterday, we also had an event with the government of Rwanda talking about a similar issue and talking about how we can all sort of contribute to the values that CHOGM is going to put forward in June later this year. And we also yesterday announced that Prince Charles will be coming here for the Commonwealth Summit in June, so we're very excited about that.
You mentioned interschool debates. Why did you focus on that event this year?
So there were some interesting discussions at the debates that we had, including how do you encourage more women to be in scientific STEM programs, which I thought was really interesting. We had discussions about what the balance should be between the youth and the older people in terms of how you influence this organization. So I think it was quite a lively debate. And when we were talking to the young people about what they learnt from debating, and they were saying things like, skills of listening to each other, skills of critical thinking, skills of self-confidence. So for me, it wasn't just the benefit of sharing the understanding of the Commonwealth, but also of building those skills amongst young people.
What would be your recommendations to the people who will attend CHOGM this year as activities they shouldn't miss out on while they're staying in Rwanda?
Oh, there are so many. First, in Kigali, there's the Nyandungu wetlands, which is a beautiful place. I think given how busy Kigali is going to be, it will be great to have that escape to somewhere where there's nature and beautiful birds. But I think there are also opportunities to take around the country. There's Akagera National Park, which is beautiful. There's the visits to the gorillas that people can do. So I think there's a lot of those opportunities, as well as visiting Lake Kivu and so on. But the other thing that I would recommend people to do while they're here is to get out and meet non-governmental elements, to meet civil society organizations, to talk to young people at universities and so on, because I think to really understand a country, you have to talk to all members of that society.
Is there any food or drinks that you would like to recommend to them as well?
Well, I recently tried making banana beer, or a non-alcoholic version of banana beer, which was fun, and I could recommend to people to try that. I have become a big fan of dodo since I've been here and try it in a lot of different recipes, so I think that's also good. And in Nyamirambo, where you can do the women's walking tour, which is another good event to do in Kigali, you can often finish that with a cooking session and taste some local food from one of the really great cooks that they work with, so I'd recommend that too.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I'd just say that I think one of the things that people are going to learn when they come to Kigali for this is quite how dynamic the young people here are. I've done a lot of events with youth since I've come to Rwanda in July last year, and I've been really impressed by the range of things they're doing, the businesses they're starting, the ideas they're coming up with. So I think that's exactly what we need to tap into for the Commonwealth and to drive it forward.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.